Alright, so I broke down and I thought I'd watch Avengers Infinity War, but I didn't pay to see it, so I'll let you do the math on that. I watched it from the comfort of my own couch. And I took some notes while watching. And I got some negative points to say. So if you like this movie, if you're a big fan of this movie, you don't see anything wrong with it, it's one of your favorite superhero films of all time, get the fuck out right now. Get out, you don't want to hear this. Okay? That's fair warning. Because I'm going to really break down all the bad parts about this film. Or at least the stuff that stuck out to me as being not good. Okay? And of course, I wasn't going to like the film going in. So the film had to do a lot to impress me, and it didn't even come close. It didn't even do that many things good. And it kind of blows my mind how people can really think this is a good movie. If people are really honest, there's a lot of problems with this film. And I have 3 pages of notes here, front to back, of, little things I was jotting down as the movie was going. And I even kept a couple counts. I kept a death count. I kept a jokes count, which is fucking huge. You're not going to believe it. And a Thanos name count. Every time somebody said Thanos' name, I kept a count of it. And it's not that much, but it's still noticeable, So anyway, let's get into my notes here. Now, first of all, I just gotta say, there's CGI everywhere in this film. Everywhere. I don't think there's a single scene that doesn't have CGI at some point. Every shot in this movie has some kind of CGI background, or the characters are CGI. And since I was watching the version I was watching, a cam copy, you could really tell what was CG and what wasn't, I don't know if it's the slightly lower resolution added to that, but you could tell clearly what was CG and what was not. So, right there for me is a bad point about the film. But, that's subjective, I guess. I mean, if you like the CG, you liked it, but to me, it was corny and it looked like a video game cutscene. And, I'm a fan of video games, but, if people were giving Justice League shit for its CGI, then you gotta give Avengers Infinity War the same criticism, because the CGI was just not that good. I would say it's on the same level as Justice League. But anyway, first criticism I have, no context for the opening scene. Now, apparently this opening scene ties into Thor Ragnarok. I didn't see Thor Ragnarok, so I had no context for what the fuck was happening in this opening scene. It looks like a battle already happened. Thanos is walking through this area, and I have no idea what's going on. So right there, not very good for a movie to have. A scene that has no explanation as to what happened, why the characters are where they're at. It's just there. And I hope you saw the last movie, or else you're not going to understand what the fuck's happening right now. Which could have been rectified by a 5-minute, opening showing the battle, showing Thanos attacking the ship that Thor was on. If you just showed that, it would have rectified everything. And it really feels like there's 40 minutes to an hour that has been cut out of this film completely. I mean, I could tell when shit's been cut out, and there was a lot of shit cut out of this film. I could just tell by the way it was cut together. And whoever the editor was did a poor job, and I'll get into that later. But we continue on the movie. This is where we get our first 2 deaths of the film. And one's the gatekeeper, and he sends Hulk on a rainbow bridge to Earth. I don't know how the fuck that works, but, whatever. And then he kills Loki by snapping his neck on camera and everything. I guess these 2 characters are dead. I mean, we've seen Agent Coulson come back from a stab to the gut, right? And we saw the gatekeeper dude get stabbed in the gut, so he could come back, Loki getting his strangled to death. He's faked his own death before, so he could come back if he wants to. Not exactly convincing deaths at the very beginning of the movie, but, I'll take them. They're deaths. I'll take it, I'll believe they're dead for now. Movie continues, and then we get a joke. I forget what the joke was, but it was a quippy, stupid little joke. And then the title of the movie comes on, Avengers Infinity War. Just so you're already ready for the movie. We've had a few jokes at this point. Nothing's been taken seriously. And then the title of the movie comes up. So just to let you know what kind of movie you're in for, they put a joke right before the title screen. But, we'll get into the jokes later. Because I counted them, and I'm telling you right now, there's a fucking lot. But I'm going to save that to the end. But let's continue with my critiques. No real explanation for why Tony has the chess piece. There's no explanation for it. His wife asks him about it, and he's like, I like it. I don't know exactly what he said, but there was no good explanation. He's just acted like, oh, I just like to wear it. It serves no function, and it's never explained further why he wants it, or why he likes it. It's never even talked about. So don't bother putting any thought into it, because you're not going to get any answers to why Tony has a chess piece. So that was annoying. And then I started to notice the soap opera acting, right? In this whole movie, it's like the soap opera. They're like waiting for an applause break, or they're waiting for a crowd to stop laughing so they can continue on with the dialogue. It feels like it's a soap opera or like a sitcom, with a fucking live studio audience. If that's how it feels like they're acting. That's how I can explain the acting in this film, which is not that good. So we continue on. We got jokes. A lot of fucking jokes. And then we get them explaining what the Infinity Stones are to Tony Stark. And just like I said in a previous video, you didn't need to watch any post-credit scene for any Marvel film about these fucking stones, because they were going to explain it anyway in the film, and they did. You really didn't need to see any post-credit scene about those fucking stones, because they explain it right here. And, they'll explain the stones, but they're not going to explain why Thor's ship was attacked. It's not going to show that battle, but they'll explain what the stones are. I thought we were already supposed to have seen the movies. But, I think Marvel likes to pick and choose what they think is important. Which, treating your audience like they're dumb as shit is good too, I guess. I don't know. And by this time, Thanos' name has already been mentioned like 4 times. Like, we've seen characters say his name 4 or 5 times by this point. And we're not even like 20 minutes in the film. But anyway, on to the next critique. And this one was funny as hell to me, and I am shocked that no one has talked about this. And that's Tony Stark's flip phone. He has a fucking flip phone, guys. Billionaire philanthropist has a fucking flip phone that he uses to call the other Avengers. Are you serious right now? Are we supposed to buy that right now? Are you fucking kidding me? And then you could probably say like, oh, it's a burner phone. But like, how does he have everyone's contacts in it if it's a burner phone? No, this is Tony's phone that he uses. Why is it a flip phone? The year is 2018. Why does he have a flip phone? Why is one of the richest people on earth carrying around a flip phone? It made no sense to me. I thought it was the funniest part of the movie, and it wasn't even a joke, really. I didn't even count it as a joke, but I thought it was funny as hell how they went so cheap on the phone. I just thought it was so fucking funny. And then the scene continues. The alien ship comes down, as you all know. It's attacking the city. And then we get to the point where we see that Hulk is a complete joke. He's trying to transform and stuff into the Hulk, and he can't do it. And they're all making fun of him, and it's just a fucking joke. Hulk means nothing in this film. He's nothing. I was shocked as hell to see that. How badly they treated this character. I'm not even a fan of Marvel characters. I'm not even a fan of Hulk, but even I could see what bullshit it was. Why? You don't want him to transform into Hulk because you don't want to spend the money on the special effects? Is that why? I wonder why we don't have him transform into the Hulk. I wonder why. And then Tony Stark pulls out his unexplained nanotech Iron Man suit. This suit was never explained in any movie. We never see him make this suit, and he just pulls it out of his ass, and he's a nanotech suit, and we're not supposed to be like fucking shocked as hell by that. Nanotechnology. Some space age shit. And we're just supposed to be like, oh, it's Tony Stark. Yeah, he can make that suit. Just so many liberties this movie takes with its audience. It's insane. It's insane. No other movie could get away with this. Does everybody realize this? Name one other movie where you can have scenes with no context, have characters do things that they've never done before, have technology that was never before seen in the whole series, soap opera acting, just bad wooden acting, just bad acting. No other movie can get away with this. But let's continue, right? Action scenes look like video games. I already said that. Tone consistency is off because they keep going from like a serious Thanos, strangling Loki, to now we're making jokes in New York City, back to a ship descending, scaring everybody. And then we get another action scene mixed in with jokes. It's just, the tone is all over the place. One second we're getting serious about Thanos, and then the next second we're making jokes about Thanos, and, we're fucking having a small action scene just for the hell of it. And by this point we already have a SpongeBob and Star Trek joke. You know, it's already happened. We're not even like 20 minutes into the film. And they're already being meta and doing Deadpool fucking jokes. They're doing Deadpool jokes. Deadpool is supposed to be the comedy character, not the whole Avengers. Not every Marvel superhero is supposed to be a comedy character. That's only Deadpool. What do people not get about this? You can't have every character doing comedy, because then there's no fucking point to it. But anyway, continuing. Location cards. These fucking words that pop up on the screen to let you know where you are. First of all, they're completely unneeded. You never need to know where you are, honestly. You never need to. It doesn't matter at all whether or not you know that they're in fucking Scotland or they're in space. That was the most annoying location card, by far. When it goes to space, and it's clearly space, and then the location card comes up and says space, as if we couldn't figure that out. I am convinced that Marvel and the Russo brothers are so convinced the audience is dumb that they feel the need to tell us we're in space when clearly we're in space. They're just treating their audience like dumb fucking pieces of shit, which, you know, a lot of them are, but still, the movie shows no respect for its audience. And then the Guardians music kicks in, and then you see the Guardians of the Galaxy with this 80s music, and the tone completely changes. We go from a fight in New York City to now we're hearing 80s music with the Guardians. It's a completely different film now. I'm telling you, this film is a fucking mess. And you get a bunch of jokes in this scene, and I don't care if you think the jokes were funny or not. That's not the problem. Let's talk about the actual jokes for a second. In this one scene, you get the whole team demasculating Star-Lord. You know, just for like 5 minutes, they're just like demasculating this character. And, you know, we're just supposed to be like laughing through this whole thing the whole time? I don't understand. Are we supposed to think that Peter Quill is nothing? That Star-Lord is the most insignificant character ever? Because that's what they fucking accomplished with this scene. With all these demasculating jokes, that's what they accomplished. They're literally telling the audience, Star-Lord does not matter. Alright, his team thinks he's a joke. He's not a real hero. He's just a spoof character. That's what the movie's telling you. And then Star-Lord becomes a jealous boyfriend when Thor starts talking to Gamora. So in literally 5 minutes, we have made Star-Lord a super unlikable character that gets made fun of all the time. But you know, it's a great fucking movie. We all should love it, right? But continuing with my critiques, the tone changes again when we go from Guardians to Vision. Vision is in a room, it's raining, it's all sad, he's getting all close with Scarlet Witch, and by the way, how the fuck are you supposed to know that they're a couple, you know? Because in the last movie, Scarlet Witch blows Vision all the way down to the basement of a building, right? I mean, I understand that Vision likes Scarlet Witch, but Scarlet Witch does not like Vision. That was proven in the last movie. And then all of a sudden, it looks like she loves him, you know, and they're sad, and they sense something's coming, which is a direct contrast to the last scene, which was happy-go-lucky, we're joking every 3 seconds, it's light, it's bright, and then we get to Vision, it's raining, it's dark, it's sad, him and Scarlet Witch are looking concerned. It's just like, pick a fucking tone, you know? You can't be jumping around all over the place, you gotta pick one. Either this movie's a fun, light movie, or it's dark and serious, and they refuse to pick one. They refuse to pick a tone in this movie. That's what's making it a mess. That's my main problem with it so far, really. Oh, and quick side note. Why the fuck does Vision have skin? Anybody? Can anybody answer me that? It was never established in any other movie that he can make himself look human. That was never established. So, please someone explain that to me. But anyway, let's get back to the movie. More title cards. In case you didn't know where we were. We're in Scotland now. A fucking unneeded location card. There's no reason why you need to know we're in Scotland. There's zero reason. It does not make any difference if they're in Scotland, England, Washington, D.C. It does not matter where they are in this scene. It doesn't matter. It is not important to know the location. And what's really annoying about these location cards is that they'll put them on some locations, and then when we go later in the movie to a place we've never been before, you don't see a title card. So what the fuck? You can't just pick and choose. That's horrible editing. Do people not understand? If you're going to do this, if you're going to be constantly putting location cards of areas that we're going to, you gotta keep it up. You gotta do it the whole film, or else it's inconsistent. Alright? And it makes you look like you don't know how to edit a fucking movie. And it makes you look lazy as an editor, right? That you're only gonna put some location titles on some scenes, but not others. Either commit to the location cards, or don't even fucking mention it, you know? Don't even fucking mention where we're at until the characters talk about where they are. And that happens later in the movie where they're on Titan, and then you see the big card say Titan. And then literally like 2 scenes later, Thanos goes, "This is Titan, my homeworld." So why the fuck did we need another location card for that? Like, why did you need to tell the audience that they're on Titan if Thanos is just going to come out and say, "Hey, we're on Titan"? It's so dumb. It's so dumb. But back to the Vision and Scarlet Witch in Scotland. Now that we know we're in Scotland, I guess that fixes all the problems with the movie. Thank God they told us we're in fucking Scotland. Thank God. Vision gets stabbed out of nowhere. Big jump scare. The only jump scare of the movie. And now I'm just completely lost. I'm like, what the fuck are we trying to do with this movie? Are you trying to have a horror film? Are you trying to have a fucking comedy? You're trying to have an action film? What the fuck are we trying to do right now with this movie? Complete mess. And then we get another action set piece. Vision and Scarlet Witch can't fight these fucking aliens. Like, these aliens are somehow driving back Vision and Scarlet Witch, the 2 most powerful Avengers. They're some of the most powerful Avengers, and these aliens, these lieutenants, are just pushing them back, you know? Vision and Scarlet Witch can't do nothing against them. But then Captain America and the other humans come. The other human being Black Widow. And these humans and Captain America, one super soldier and like a couple humans, are able to take out these aliens that were giving Vision and Scarlet Witch a problem. It doesn't make any fucking sense, right? It's just like, are we saying that Captain America and Black Widow are stronger than the Vision and Scarlet Witch? Like, what the fuck? Like, clearly they're not. Vision should have been able to handle these aliens like nothing. And I'm not even a big Marvel fan, I fucking know that. But then the scene ends, and then we get a flashback. But you don't know it's a flashback because there's no fucking indicators to tell you that it's a flashback. You just see a bunch of green people on a planet. There's no lighting change. There's nothing different about the film. There's no way to tell that we're back in time. There's no way to tell. All you see is a bunch of green people on this planet, and then you put it together that, oh, this little girl's Gamora, you know? You just have to put it together on your own. It's just a fucking mess. Whoever edited this film did a horrible job. They're not consistent on anything. How are you supposed to know it's the past? It doesn't make any sense. And then fucking Thanos slaughters like half these people, and he's just telling the girl, oh don't pay attention to that. And the little girl's just fine with it. Little Gamora is just fine with these people getting slaughtered behind her. She doesn't even think twice about it. You know? She's not crying. She's not worried. She's just standing there and like looking at her new toy that Thanos gave her. Like, yeah, that's what you do when your family and friends are being slaughtered behind you. You just listen to this Thanos guy, you know. Don't act scared. You know, don't act nervous. Just take this fucking knife he's giving you, right? Doesn't make any goddamn sense. Are we supposed to understand Gamora's struggle? Because clearly she is not struggling at all. She wants to go with Thanos in this scene. It's just so poorly done. It's so poorly done. And then Gamora later in the movie tries to say, I hated you my whole life. Even though she didn't hate him at all in that flashback, right? She went right with him. You know, she had no problem joining Thanos as a little girl. It's just like, god damn. How am I supposed to believe Gamora when she says that she hated Thanos her whole life? How am I supposed to believe it? It certainly didn't look like she hated him as a little girl. It certainly didn't look like that. So that whole scene was just bad. You just had to figure out that it was a flashback, right? That's just bad. It's just bad. There's no nice way to say that. I mean, it's bad filmmaking. And then we get back to the Guardians, and the tone shifts again, right? We get joke after joke. And by the way, the one plus I have, well, I actually have a couple pluses on this list. Surprising, you know, I have 3 positive things to say about the movie. The rest are negative, but I have 3 positives. One of the positives, Dave Bautista. He's fucking hysterical in this movie. They had a great moment in this scene where he's saying, oh, he can't see me if I stand perfectly still. It was fucking hysterical. I laughed. And then, right after those funny moments, Gamora looks at Star-Lord and says, "Swear on your mother's grave." It's like, Jesus Christ, lady, what the fuck? That's a hell of a thing to tell somebody. Swear on your dead mother's grave. Like, I thought Star-Lord was about to punch her right there. That's what I would have did if I was Star-Lord. Been like, fuck you, and punch you, like, that's how a human would react to somebody telling them to swear on their dead mother's grave. It's like, fuck you, I don't owe you anything. And Star-Lord doesn't owe Gamora anything. He saved her life how many times? And she's going to tell him to swear on his mother's grave? There's something fucked up about that. And it completely changes the tone of what was happening. We just had all these jokes with Dave Bautista, and now we're getting all serious, telling people to swear on their dead mother's graves. It just doesn't strike me. It doesn't strike a good chord in me, all right? I don't like it. And the generic orchestral music, the Avengers theme, ba 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 ba, it's in the whole fucking movie. That same fucking 5 notes in the whole fucking movie. Very bland, generic orchestral music. It never gets good. There's no reason to listen to this soundtrack. Ever. So right now, at this point in the movie, Avengers Infinity War is just like Justice League. It's the same fucking thing to me. It's like, yeah, I'm kind of enjoying these jokes because they're so fucking stupid, but the movie is a mess. And it's clear it's a mess. Oh, and then we get to the Collector's place. By the way, the Collector dies off camera, so that's the 3rd death of the movie, and we don't even see it. You just have to assume he's dead because Thanos completely destroyed his whole workshop and everything. So I'm just going to assume the Collector's dead, even though it's off camera, we don't see it. So that's 3 deaths in the movie. 3 deaths. Then Gamora starts crying over Thanos for some reason. I don't know what the fuck that was about. Because she thinks she kills Thanos, right? But it's the Reality Stone, and that's another positive I'll get to. But she thinks she kills Thanos, and then she starts crying. I thought you fucking hated Thanos. Now you're crying over killing him? What the fuck is... It doesn't make any goddamn sense. Does nobody see the inconsistencies with these characters' motivations? It doesn't make any sense. Am I crazy right now? Why is she crying over killing Thanos? It doesn't make any sense. But, it turns out the death was fake, so this whole emotional moment, it meant nothing, Just like the rest of this movie, it means nothing. But I will give it a positive because this scene actually showed the power of one of the stones. It showed the Reality Stone's power to change reality. That was the greatest thing about this scene. We actually showed what one of the stones does. So I'll give it a positive for that. Showing what something can do that we haven't seen before, that's a positive. But then Thanos makes some kind of booty call joke directed at Star-Lord over his relationship with Gamora. So, right then, any positivity I had with the Reality Stone is taken away by that fucking booty call joke. He might as well have said, "Oh, Star-Lord, you're pretty thirsty." He might as well just said that, right? And we're right back at Justice League. But, whatever. And then it gets real serious again, right? So we got another tone shift, and Star-Lord is crying about whether or not to kill Gamora, even though she's asking him to kill her. And she's gonna die anyway. So you got that whole emotional moment that's for nothing because Thanos doesn't let him do it anyway. So, whatever. And Thanos is like, "Oh, I have much more respect for you now." It's like, fuck you, Thanos. What the fuck? You just wasted our time with this whole scene. You could have just left Thanos 5 minutes ago and saved us some fucking time. If you weren't going to let him kill her anyway. So we go back to Vision. He's stabbed in the gut. I don't know how he's hurting because he's a fucking robot. Alright? Just put the wires back together and he should be fine. He's not a fucking person. He's a fucking machine. You should be able to fix him easily. Let's go. But, he's a robot that can be injured. So, whatever. We get joke, and then we get another tone shift and Vision asks if he should kill himself. And would that be easier? And the obvious answer is yes. That would be a lot easier if you just killed yourself, Vision. It'd be a hell of a lot easier. And then we go to Wakanda, but no location card for Wakanda, right? You don't get that because they showed the giant lion, right? Or the giant panther. So you're supposed to know that we're in Wakanda now, right? Even though they've been doing location cards for fucking Scotland and space, we don't have a location card for Wakanda. So, just completely inconsistent with their location cards and how they're going about this movie. But, it's a perfect movie, right? It's flawless. And then we see Winter Soldier. There's no explanation for why Winter Soldier is in Wakanda. I didn't watch Black Panther. Maybe that explained why Winter Soldier is in Wakanda. I have no idea why he's there. They never tell us why he's there. And he's missing his arm. And he's waiting for a new one to be built. Or whatever. And we go from them greeting Captain America Wakanda to Doctor Strange being tortured out of nowhere. I didn't even know Doctor Strange was captured. Now he's being tortured. Okay. How did Doctor Strange allow this to happen? How can he not get out of this? Like, he's hella strong in this movie. How is he being tortured by this other wizard dude? And by the way, the torture is not that bad. I mean, they're sticking needles in him, and it looks cool, right? Looks cool. It's way better than the other torture. There's 2 torture scenes in this movie, and the one with Doctor Strange is way better than the other one. The other one, Thanos is like stretching out a robot girl. I forget her name. It's his other daughter. And he's just stretching her out, but she's a robot. So, like, how the fuck does she feel it? I don't know. That's another thing they don't need to explain, right? And, we get that short scene with Doctor Strange. And then it goes to Iron Man and Spider-Man on the ship. Can I just say right now that the characters are not being balanced well at all? Whoever said these characters are being balanced well is lying, okay? Like, we have, 20 minutes with the Guardians, 5 minutes with Doctor Strange, 10 minutes with Spider-Man and Iron Man, but most of the time, we're with the Guardians of the Galaxy. If anything, this movie should be called Guardians of the Galaxy Infinity War. It really should be. They are the characters that get the most screen time. And right behind them is Thanos. Thanos is the only one that gets screen time. All the other characters get a bunch of bit roles, and they have no relevance for what happens for the rest of the movie. It does not matter that Spider-Man is on this alien ship. Spider-Man does nothing for the whole film. He doesn't help at all. Nothing he does helps. There's no reason why he should be here. Other than his fucking inevitable death that's going to happen at the end, which got everyone crying so much. But he didn't do anything the whole fucking movie, so what are you crying about? Anyway, we get an alien joke, another pop culture joke, as if Deadpool's in the fucking movie, but it's Spider-Man that's doing the joke, so, it's all good, right? And they fucking made an alien resurrection joke. It wasn't even an alien or aliens joke, it was an alien resurrection joke. Because he's talking about how they could suck them out into space, and that only happens in Alien Resurrection. So, wow. Way to fucking reference the only bad alien film, right? The shittiest alien film gets a reference in this movie. Okay. Just odd. It's just odd. And then Doctor Strange calls Spider-Man Tony Stark's ward, so they're referencing Batman now. Because, I don't know about you, but, Batman is the only character I know that uses terms like a ward, to describe his adopted children. And then the scene continues with them. You get another tone shift with Spider-Man joking about superhero names. And then the very next thing is Tony panicking. Tony's just panicking about Thanos. Right after Spider-Man just joked about superhero names. Not even a second ago. And now you have Tony panicking about Thanos. And then Doctor Strange gives a very serious line, "I will not hesitate for you two to die," or something like that. He's not going to worry about Spider-Man or Tony Stark dying. That's essentially what Doctor Strange is getting at. Then we go back to Thanos. And by the way, the Thanos scenes are probably the best scenes in the movie because, number one, 0 jokes in these scenes. There's very few jokes in the Thanos scenes. And that is the best part about the movie to me. And in this scene, we see Thanos is like a caring father for Gamora. And Gamora still hates him. But we never know why she hates him. What else has Thanos done to her besides kill her whole family while she wasn't even looking, She wasn't even looking at her family when they died. So she could care less, right? So other than that, what about Thanos does Gamora hate so much? What has he really done to her? It seems like Thanos hates the other sister way more. He hates the other daughter way more. And we have no idea why. The movie never tells you why. And in this scene, we see the torture of Gamora's sister. And then we really get to why Thanos thinks killing off half the universe is a good idea. And his reasoning is that overpopulation means more people are going to starve. And that's just simply not true. You can look it up on the internet. Overpopulation does not equal starvation, okay? You can just look it up. It's not a fact. It's a theory that's been disproven. Alright, there's a lot of other contributing factors to why there's starvation. But overpopulation does not directly lead to starvation. There's many other factors. One of them being poverty. That's a major factor to starvation. But anyway, let's not even question Thanos' thinking here, even though it's obvious that Thanos has no idea what he's talking about. He has no idea. If you want to fix the universe, Thanos, instead of killing half the universe, just make it easier for the universe to get food. You have a reality stone. Why not make it so it's easier to get food? I don't know. Am I crazy? Obviously, Thanos is a fucking idiot. He's crazy. But, he's the most relatable, thought-provoking villain ever, right? According to everybody else that's watched the fucking movie. And then we go from Thanos and Gamora to the Guardians. And the tone shifts from serious Thanos to the Guardians. And I am Groot saying, I am Groot 3 fucking times. He just says it 3 fucking times. So it's like, it might as well be dead air, because he's not really saying anything. It's just lazy script writing. At the end of the day, it's just lazy script writing. And then we get another brilliant joke with the raccoon saying that he shoved the eye up his butt, so Thor should wash the eye before putting it in his head. How funny. It's awesome, and we can have some butt jokes in this movie. I'm glad we got the superhero movie we've all been wanting to see, right? I don't know about you, but when I think superheroes, I think fart jokes and butt jokes. And then we get some more random title cards for locations that we don't need to know where they're at. We don't need to know they're at these locations. We don't need these title cards. But anyway, we're at a new location with the Guardians and Thor. And then Peter Dinklage comes on the screen. And he's a giant! With the use of horrible CGI, we've made Peter Dinklage a little person to a big person. A person that's almost too big. And by the way, Peter Dinklage is the best actor in the movie by far. By far. He delivers his lines the best. Even the most ridiculous line that he has later, he still delivers it fine. And he has a little tussle with the Guardians and whatever. Anyway, back to the other tortured daughter. She's being levitated in the air, right? And then somehow, she just gets down from it. And all I'm thinking in the scene is, how the fuck did she get down? She's been levitating this whole time in this torture device thing, and now all of a sudden she could just hop down? Like, why the fuck didn't you do that like 10 hours ago? Like, why is she just now escaping from this? It makes zero sense, guys. And then we see Iron Man and Spider-Man and Doctor Strange landing on Titan. And then we get a big title card for Titan, just so you know where we're at. So when later Thanos says, hey, we're on Titan, you're all not confused about where we're at. God, so dumb. And then we get back to the Guardians, and they're fighting the Avengers. And a scene that's completely recycled and ripped out of the first Avengers film. You get the same fucking scene here, right? It's exactly what we want to see. The heroes fighting because they don't know each other. It's exactly what we want to see, right? It worked so well in the first Avengers film, let's do it again. But then we see, and this is the most mind-numbing part of the film. A part that I don't see how you could forgive the film, really. And that is, Doctor Strange figures out, by going through 14 million different ways that this could happen, he figures out the victory plan to beat Thanos. So, that means Doctor Strange knows how to win. Which means they can end the movie right now. Does everybody understand that? Is everybody with me on that? They can end the movie right now because Doctor Strange knows how to win. So why the fuck don't they make the movie 3 hours and just end it right now? This movie is half a movie. Okay, it's half a movie. We get the villains set up, we get the first and second act, but we never get a third act, we never get a resolution, even though we know there is a resolution. There's a way to win. We know there is, because Doctor Strange knows. And now they're going to make people wait years before seeing that. And everybody's just fine with this. It makes no sense. But back to Thanos, because he's the best part of the movie so far, because everything else in this movie doesn't make any fucking sense. But back to Thanos. Red Skull is fucking levitating. He's flying towards Thanos. I didn't know Red Skull could even fly. I didn't know he had that power. I don't know where the fuck he got that power, but apparently he can fly. Like he's a fucking ghost. And he's just chilling on this planet, guarding the other stone. I don't even know what stone it is, but he's guarding it. I think it's a soul stone or whatever. And then we get this revelation that Thanos has to kill somebody he loves to get the stone. And all I'm thinking right now is that, who the fuck does Thanos love? And then Thanos starts crying, and I'm still thinking, who the fuck does Thanos love? Right? Wouldn't it be way better if Thanos loves himself and he has to kill himself to get the stone? Wouldn't that be way more interesting? Because we already know that death means nothing in this Marvel universe. So they really could have had it where Thanos kills himself, he wakes up and he grabs the Soul Stone and he comes back to life, right? That could have been an easy solution to this scene. But instead he starts crying because he has to kill Gamora. And we have no idea why Thanos loves Gamora. We have no idea. Like, he kidnapped her as a child. Why the fuck does he love her? You know? It doesn't make any sense. We never see a single scene that shows Thanos loving Gamora. There isn't one scene in this whole 20 movie universe. There isn't one scene of that. And then Gamora stabs herself in the gut trying to kill herself before he is able to kill her. And, you know, just like a lot of problems in this movie, characters have a big problem of stabbing themselves in the gut. Or getting stabbed in the gut and just not going for the head. And even Thanos makes fun of Thor later for it, where Thor stabs him in the chest with the axe, and Thanos goes, "You should have stabbed me in the head." And he's fucking right, Thor. You should have stabbed him in the head, and it would have ended the whole fucking movie, right? Just fucking Thor being an idiot, because Thor's a fucking idiot anyway. Thor is so fucking brain dead. It's unreal, you know, but anyway. Thor kills Gamora, throws her off the cliff. She definitely dies. Bring the death count back up. We're at 4 deaths now in this movie. 4 fucking deaths before the big ash scene in the end, where everybody just turns to ash. But Gamora dies, and she's definitely dead, because it was a huge fucking fall. But, you know, they could always bring her back, because it's Marvel, right? And they can't do nothing wrong. As we've learned from this amazing Avengers Infinity War movie. This fucking amazing movie. Now we're in the 3rd act. And now we get the big battle, right? Wakandans versus aliens. In a fictional country. And I love how everybody likes to bitch about DC having fictional cities, but when we have a huge fight in a completely fictional, made-up African country, it's fine. You know, it's just fine. Unbelievable. You know, it's unbelievable the double standards that exist, but whatever. I'm not going to harp on that too much. What I will harp on is that the Wakandans are using spears and shields, and they're lining up like they're in fucking Empire Total War, you know? They got their little units all lined up like we're in the fucking Revolutionary War, and their spears shoot. I'm like, well, if your spears shoot, why not use them like guns? Like, what the fuck? Like, why are they lining up the squads like this is some kind of fucking Revolutionary War battle? Now we get to another positive of the movie, and that's that the aliens look like Chimera from Resistance, right? I love the Resistance franchise. I'm so happy they added the Chimera to this movie. So happy for that. That's a positive. Now back to the negatives. They open the fucking shield. They have a giant shield around the whole country of Wakanda. The same shield from Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Same shield. And Black Panther sees that the aliens are trying to flank the shield. So in Black Panther's brilliance, he lowers the shield to let all the aliens in at once. Does no one see how fucking dumb that is? Does no one see what a horrible idea that is? Like, if you see that they're flanking to the other side, take a unit of your soldiers and go stop the flanking, you know? Why let the whole shield go down and let all the aliens come in? Like, why do that? That doesn't make any goddamn sense. Horrible strategy. And it didn't work, so Black Panther made a horrible decision that got people killed. Got half the universe killed, actually. His horrible decision. But anyway, we go back to Thor trying to get the axe, right? And Peter Dinklage, who looks ridiculous, by the way. Like, in some scenes, he looks like a giant. In the other scenes, they didn't even bother to do any CGI, and he just looks like himself. You know? His 3-foot-tall self. Like, is he a giant or isn't he a giant? Like, what is going on with this character? And then he starts saying this joke, and I swear to God, It looked like Peter Dinklage did not want to say this joke. Like, you could tell on his face that he was embarrassed to say this joke. He was fucking embarrassed to say this. I can't remember what the joke was, but you could tell how embarrassed he was to say it. And then we finally get the axe, but it doesn't have a handle or anything. So the dude's looking for a handle. And then Groot, out of nowhere, helps Thor and puts the axe together. Why the fuck would Groot help Thor? Groot is a teenage asshole in this movie. Am I wrong in saying that? Every other scene that we've seen Groot in, he's just been an asshole to everybody else. Like a teenager. And now all of a sudden he wants to help Thor by helping him put this axe together. Once again, the character motivations are in question. There's no consistency. They're just doing whatever the fuck they want in this movie. Because they realize that a bunch of people are going to see this movie and no one cares about what the fuck happens in the movie as long as they're entertained and they eat their popcorn, right? But putting that aside, let's go back to Thanos. Because now Thanos has a line where he says something about willpower and how he's the only one with the will to kill half the universe. And I'm just looking at Thanos and I'm going, you're no fucking Green Lantern. You're no fucking Green Lantern. Hal Jordan could beat the shit out of you, Thanos. Easily. I don't know why it got me pissed off hearing Thanos talk about willpower. It just got me pissed off. To hear a Marvel villain talk about willpower, it just fucking pissed me off. I don't know what it was. And then the team starts fighting Thanos on Titan, in case you didn't know where the fuck we were. Because now we had a title card and we had Thanos saying, hey, we're on Titan. So now you know we're on Titan. For those fucking idiots in the crowd that don't know that we're on Titan. We're on Titan. So the team attacks Thanos. Thanos calls Spider-Man an insect, which is like super original, right? Never heard that one before, right? Never heard a Spider-Man villain call Spider-Man an insect. Never heard it before. Super original. I'm so happy the writers are going to make billions of dollars off this movie because they deserve every penny for being super original. And then we see the team fight Thanos. They can clearly take Thanos. Everybody in the scene is taking Thanos to school. Like, Thanos can barely handle them. And they even have him down for the count. They have him brainwashed and he's frozen and they're taking the gauntlet off him. And then Star-Lord, who's been seen as the insignificant character, decides to fuck everything up and make a fucking joke just because he's mad about Gamora dying. When he should have been focused about cutting fucking Thanos' arm off and taking that goddamn gauntlet off. That's all they had to do, was take the gauntlet off and just fucking throw it in the sun, right? That's all you have to do. They can't do that. The CGI in this scene, by the way, is like, it's Phantom Menace level bad. Like, that's what the CGI reminded me of. It just reminded me of Phantom Menace. Not only did that shield Black Panther was using look like Phantom Menace, but the CGI in this movie looks like the Phantom Menace. You know, like this. You cannot forgive how bad this movie looks. So we get this big fight scene. You don't really give a shit about the characters fighting because you know that the bad guys they're fighting and the aliens they're fighting and the lieutenants they're fighting are all weak-ass characters that could never beat these Avengers. So you don't really care about the fighting. And there is no reason to care because we know Doctor Strange has a fucking victory plan. He already knows how to win, so there's no reason to care about this fight. And just a few more things I have here about this final fight, and we'll call it a day because this is going on way longer than I wanted to. But I wrote so many notes about this film while watching it, and I just had to share all these negative things because it feels like nobody wants to look at it. Everyone's just completely, oh my god, it's amazing, it's so great. And they don't want to look at all these inconsistencies and all these problems this movie has. But anyway, this battle's happening. It just feels like shit is happening for the sake of it because we need to have a final battle at the end of this movie, right? Nothing's happening for a reason. Let me just remind everybody of that. Nothing is happening for any reason. We already know there's a victory plan. Then the big moment happens. Iron Man gets stabbed in the gut. And it's for sure he's going to die from this because he is stabbed all the way through his body. Which means his internal organs are shot to shit. He probably has a bunch of internal bleeding. He's going to die. And then Doctor Strange goes, oh, spare his life and you can have the time stone. But it's like, are you kidding me right now? Tony Stark is already dead. How's he going to survive this? Gives Thanos the stone. Dumb idea. But it obviously has to be a part of his victory plan, right? Or else he wouldn't have done it. So all this is just part of the plan. It gives Thanos the stone. Iron Man heals himself with some kind of surgical thing that just heals the outside wound. What about all the internal bleeding inside? There's no way he's going to survive that. It just doesn't make any sense. And then the rest of the movie happens. The jokes start to die out. There's not that many jokes in the last 20 minutes. So I was like thanking God at that point because there were so many jokes in this movie, and I'm going to get to that in a second. I'm going to tell you exactly how many jokes there were in the movie. But then we get to the last big problem, and that's when Thor stabs Thanos in the chest with the axe instead of the head. And then Thanos even makes fun of him for it. And all I wrote was problem solved, right? Like all you had to do was stab Thanos in the head, right in between the eyes, and the problem is solved. Movie over. But he doesn't. Thanos snaps his fingers, and half the universe is wiped away with no explanation, really. I don't even know how the fucking gauntlet works. I have no idea how this gauntlet works. How does snapping your fingers equal wiping away half the universe? How does that equal each other, you know? Show me how it's working, you know? But it doesn't matter. And we see all the characters turn to ash. This is the best moment of the movie by far for me. It's haunting with no score. It's a beautiful scene. They're all turning to ash. It's the best part of the movie by far. And then the movie just kind of ends. Just kind of ends with Thanos in some kind of fucking shack in the middle of the woods. Like, why the fuck wasn't he just there to begin with? Why did he feel the need to wipe out half the universe? You know, like, why? Just go live in your fucking shack, dude. Why do you care? Like, why do you care so much? But anyway, movie ends. We had 2 acts. We had to build up. We had to set up. We had to build up, but we had no payoff in the movie. There's no third act to the movie, and everyone's saying this is like the greatest film of all time. That this is like what everyone's been waiting for 10 years, to have half a movie. The movie is 2 hours and 18 minutes long before the credits. And I'm not even going to talk about the post-credits scene or the credits because I didn't watch it. Because the movie ends when the credits start. If you didn't tell your story in that time frame, sorry. You fucked up. But the movie is 2 hours and 18 minutes long. That means it's 138 minutes long. And get ready for this. This is how many jokes are in the film. 131 jokes. I kept a tally the whole film. 131 jokes for a film that's 138 minutes long. And no one sees a problem with this. Beverly Hills Cops didn't have this many jokes in it. What the fuck is this movie? It has to be a comedy. You have to consider this a comedy. An action comedy film. That's what it is. It's not a superhero film. It's not an action film. It's an action comedy film. That's what it is. There's way too many jokes. And there was only 4 real deaths. And one of them was off screen. The rest were ash. And I'm not going to count those deaths because we all know that they're going to fix this in the next Avengers film. It's no secret. Everybody that turned to ash is coming back. Easily. With the Soul Stone, that's how it's going to happen. It's going to be real easy. So if you cried when everyone turned to ash, you're silly. You're just silly. Anyway, that's it for now. I don't want to talk about this movie anymore. What do y'all think about the movie down below? I fucking hated it. I fucking hated it. All these problems that no one can see. All these inconsistencies. The characters' motivations are all over the place. They constantly change depending on what fucking the scene calls for. It has no basis in reality. And the movie's a goddamn comedy. 131 jokes. I was shocked as hell when I counted it up at the end. 131. And that's just my count. There could be more. There could be some I missed. But 131 jokes for a movie that's 138 minutes long, and half the jokes don't land. Because when I watched my cam copy, you could hear the audience laughing, and half the jokes, they weren't laughing. So it really shows you how shit the movie was. And, it's going to make a lot of money. So this just shows Warner Brothers, hey, if you make a dumb fucking movie with no logic and just put a bunch of jokes in it, people are going to love it, and you're going to make $2 billion, because that's what Infinity War is going to make. It's going to make $2 billion for putting out this piece of shit. So what is a studio like Warner Brothers supposed to learn? They're just going to try to do the same bullshit, and we're going to get another bad DC film because of the success of Infinity War. You know, because this movie is so successful, this is why the DC movies are going to be bad. And I watched Batman vs. Superman after watching this Infinity War movie. Holy shit, Batman vs. Superman is so much better. It's so much better. And I think there's 5 jokes total in the whole film. 5 jokes, that's it. And it's way better. It just feels so serious. It's so fucking real. It's insane how much better it is. But anyway, yeah, that's what I think about Infinity War. I never want to watch this film again. I'm so happy I downloaded it from a torrent site and watched it from the comfort of my own couch. Because, God, if I spent money on this, I would have been fucking pissed. But anyway, what do y'all think down below? Let me know what you think. Give me your reasons for why you didn't like Infinity War, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye.